foremost, the seeds we've sown deep in the cracks of my hands. We come from places our children can't grow, some of us south of the border, seeking safety, wages, and work, dignity, food, and water. From harm may we be delivered, demand though we may be fired, to meet and bargain together for all workers, clean and safe shelter, and the cold cup of water, and the cold cup of water, The dust stings my eyes, my fingers will blister from poisonous water and air. If I speak up, the crew boss insists there's hundreds to take my place here. From spring to the fall, we all make the rounds, from bunkhouse, orchard, and field. In 49 years, I'll be under this ground, waiting for next season's yield. From harm may we be delivered, demand though we may be fired, to meet and bargain together for all workers, clean and safe shelter, and a cold cup of water, and a cold cup of water, I trusted the grower's promise of work, and lived months away from my home. Now I yield little more than blisters and dirt, and the weariness in me is growing. If you think you owe my family no debt, let the fruit spoil on the bough. $3 billion of my toil and sweat are feeding your empire now. From harm may we be delivered, demand though we may be fired, to meet and bargain together for all workers, clean and safe shelter, and a cold are fed, born in the dark. We are fed in the dark. We connect in the dark through the veil. We are held in the dark. We are healed in the dark. Mysteries in the dark we reveal. Let us sing for today. Let us learn their ways. Show us love in the dark, giving hope. In the dark we create. In the dark, better days. Time is now. We begin where we are. We begin, we have all. We begin that we need to renew. We begin to rebuild. We begin to release. We begin to believe. Let us sing for today. Let us learn their ways. Showing love. We begin giving hope. We begin, we create. We begin better days. Let us sing for today. Let us learn their ways. Show us love. We begin giving hope. We begin, we create. We begin better days. Showing love. We begin giving hope. We begin, we create. We begin better days.
So I'm told it was a train journey through depression that struck America in 1935 that inspired Langston Hughes to write this poem. Consistent with the time, many of the plurals are male. They have not been changed. I like to think that if Hughes were alive today, he would have written it more inclusively. For me, this poem is pessimistic and hard-hitting, but the poem does have an optimistic ending and lights the way forward with hope. It's a space I try to live in.
Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free.
America never was America to me.
Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be great, strong land of love, where kings connive nor giants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above.
It was never America to me.
Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe.
There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free.
Say who you that mumbles in the dark, and who you that draws your veil across the stars.
I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek, and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak.
I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in the ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, and grab of the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed.
I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro servant used to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, need. Hungry yet today despite the dream, beaten yet today, oh pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker, battered through the years.
Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream, in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings, in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore, and Poland's plain, and England's grassy lea. And torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free.
The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions we have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay, except the dream that's almost dead today.
Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that is mine, the poorest man's, Indians, Negroes, me. Who made America, whose sweat and blood, those faith and pain, whose hand and palm tree, whose plowed the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again.
Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again. America.
Oh, yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be.
Out of the rack and ruin our gangster death, the rape and the rot of Grat, and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless pain, all the stretch of these green states, and make America again. Thank you.
We are living beneath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever,
I think you can do this even if you do not have an earthly garden where you regularly plant and prune, water and fertilize, or harvest and mulch. I have some experience with gardens. I'm kind of a junior gardening assistant. As many of you know, Barb is the gardening expert. I just married the right person. I have been fascinated by the first quote in the order of service, "Life is just a chance to grow a soul," by A. Powell Davies, since I first heard it. And to be fair, the first time it was paraphrased more powerfully to say something like, "The purpose of life is to grow a soul." So that idea challenged me to think about my life's purpose. Reverend Davies was the minister at All Souls Unitarian in Washington, D.C. from 1943 to 1957. I was already acquainted with his work on civil rights for African Americans and women and his efforts to prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons after World War II. So I was ready to learn more from him. So let's take a moment to visualize our souls as a garden. Is yours neat and tidy, no weeds, with everything in straight rows? Or maybe you are a permaculturalist, where you have a broad mix of native plants intermingled with vegetables. Or maybe yours is just a jumble of flora that have accumulated during your life. Right now, my soul garden needs some tending. For the last couple of years, it feels like it has been trampled by some thoughtless people. A lot of foliage that was previously vibrant and healthy, like the inherent worth and dignity of all people, democracy, and the interdependent web of all creation, these have been crushed and are struggling to survive. How's your soil? If you want to have an engaging conversation with a winemaker and see their face light up, ask them about the soil where the grapes were grown. Soil plays a big role in the complexity of wine. So take a good look at the soil in your garden. What do you see? Sand, clay, or rich loamy earth? Is there a lot of worm activity? Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Can you smell the richness of your soil? I think there's something amiss with my soil. For the last few years, I have noticed that the soil where my soul is planted has streaks of white supremacy culture, privilege, and white fragility. I'm not always sure how to deal with this, so sometimes I ignore it. I often need the help of other gardeners to identify these elements. It seems like this is the work I cannot do alone. I need to work with all the other gardeners in my community to deal with this. Those gardeners have convinced me that I live within a system of oppression that grants me enormous privilege. Others may disagree, but let me take you through my discernment process. I don't have to do anything for this privilege. It will be there even if I stay at home and play mindless video games all day long. It may not help me win in solitaire or Sudoku, but it is present in almost every other aspect of my life. What did I do to get this privilege? I'm white, I'm male, I am cisgender. And for those who may not be familiar with the term, cisgender, it describes people whose sense of personal identity and gender corresponds with their birth sex. Compare cisgender to transgender. I was born male and identify as male, so I am cisgender. I didn't do anything to get this privilege. The system existed before I got here. I didn't choose it, I didn't create it. It's here for me, even when I do something stupid. Let me tell you a story. It's true, and it really happened this way. Recently, I bought a slice of pizza at Whole Foods. I had it on the seat beside me as I was driving home. We don't eat much pizza at our house as Barb has an extreme dairy intolerance. So I decided I would do her a favor and eat it on my way home. Besides, I was stopped at a traffic light and the pizza was just sitting right beside me. As the light turned green, a motorcycle cop behind me turned on his light and I pulled over. Quick survey. If you've ever been pulled over by the police and are willing to share that information, please raise your hand. Lots of you have had this experience. So the policeman dismounts, walks up to my window and says, "I don't know if you noticed that I was behind you, but I could see you talking on your cell phone." What? Now I'm getting angry. I said, "I wasn't talking on my cell phone, I was eating pizza." And I pointed to the pizza crust and the box on the passenger seat. And he said, "Where's your cell phone?" Really? So now I'm a mixture of being annoyed at him, embarrassed to be caught eating, and honestly, I'm in a bad mood because my sinuses are raw from a head cold that I've had for the last 2 days. I said, "It's in my pocket." He wanted to see it, so I started reaching my pocket, but there were a couple things I needed to remove first, like a snotty handkerchief. As he saw this, he said, "Forget it, you can go." So that's kind of amusing. But how would it have played out if I wasn't a white guy with a ton of privilege? Would he have let anyone reach into their pocket? Or would he have assumed others might have a weapon? Or would he have insisted on searching their pockets? So, do you see it? Do something stupid, be white and male, forget it, you can go. I haven't always been able to see this. In the past, I've argued that any success I've had at school or work was solely due to me. I worked and studied hard, I put in extra time, I tried to be clever and smart. I probably said something like, "I am colorblind, I don't see race when I work with people." Now I'm convinced I live within a system of oppression that grants me enormous privilege. Do you remember the story of Sandra Bland? She was a 28-year-old African-American woman who was pulled over for a traffic violation, changing lanes without signaling. On July 10th, 2015, in Waller County, Texas. You may remember the dash camera footage. The trooper who pulled her over demanded she put out her cigarette. She said, "Why do I have to put out my cigarette when I'm in my own car?" The trooper ordered her to get out of the car. She refused. He threatened her with a taser. It escalated. He arrested her, and she was taken to jail. 3 days later, she was found dead, hanged in her jail cell. There have been so many stories of police violence and escalation against people of color. But Sandra's hit me in a different way. Maybe because the events all happened around the same time as my birthday. Maybe because I was given Sandra's name and a picture at a Black Lives Matter event. I now carry her picture just behind my driver's license in my wallet. Or maybe it's because Sandra did exactly what I would have done. And I didn't end up dead in a jail cell. I got, "Forget it, you can go." For those who raised your hands earlier, reflect on your experience of being pulled over. What did the trooper say to you? What happened to you? Now, what am I going to do about this system of oppression that grants me an enormous privilege? What am I going to do to repair the soil where my soul garden is growing? Consider another aspect of gardens. Neighboring gardens affect each other. The dandelion that goes to seed in one garden sends its seeds floating delicately in the wind to adjacent gardens. What other soul gardens are near you? We are all bound up in this work together. I included the quote from Delilah Watson in The Order of Service, and even less subtly, we just heard "Swimming to the Other Side," which includes the lyrics, "We are washed by the very same rain, and we are swimming in the stream together." And it doesn't need to be a garden metaphor. We have collective work to do together, regardless of the imagery. None of us can do this alone. So let's begin by looking at those places where mainstream society in America is white, or male, or heterosexual, or Christian, or ableist, or cisgender, or favors the wealthy. We need to decenter these categories. To do this, notice what is happening and ask about other standards. What is the perspective of other racial or cultural groups? How do you get your friends and colleagues to acknowledge other standards? Brian Stevenson, who among many other things, is the author of Just Mercy, was the Ware Lecturer at the UU General Assembly in 2017, a founder and executive director of the Equal Justice Initiative in Montgomery, Alabama, a defense attorney, and a civil rights activist. He lists 4 things we can do, and they are listed in your order of service. 1, get proximate. Get close to people and communities who are at risk. Find a local organization led by people of color, and listen, and show up when asked. You might also consider becoming a pen pal with an incarcerated Unitarian Universalist. Our UU congregation, the Church of the Larger Fellowship, has over 1,000 members currently in prison. Go online and read about the pen pal program, and sign up if you can. 2, change the narrative that creates policy problems. Don't accept the politics of fear and anger. This is hard work. You need to engage in the public dialogue that keeps trying to make others into monsters. Write letters to your elected representatives. Write letters to the newspaper. Gently engage friends and coworkers in conversation. And when you are ready, there is always work to do on Facebook and Twitter and the rest of social media. Number 3, stay hopeful. This is the hardest one for me. I've included Stevenson's quote in the order of service, hopelessness is the enemy of justice. Some days, this is the hardest thing to do. But this is what we are called and challenged to do. Recently, a friend was so enraged by our government that all they wanted to do was scream. So I said, scream if you need to. And then, remember that hopelessness is the enemy of justice, and find the next thing to do. 4, be willing to do uncomfortable things. Be a witness. Be present. When you're called to a vigil, a march, or a protest, just go. I know it's easy to overanalyze these things. I've done it. It's too much work to go to the Board of Supervisors meeting, or the courthouse, or whatever. Several of us went to a city council meeting on Monday evening, and we had to stay until midnight in order to be heard. This is the challenge. I am challenging, or encouraging, you to be uncomfortable. Friends, there is some hard and uncomfortable work ahead. Think of it as adding mulch and fertilizer to your soul garden. Without mulch and fertilizer, our soil gets weak and our gardens get barren. Let's do the work to make our souls and gardens flourish. Can we work together to make the America that never has been? I think so. I am heartened by the end of Langston Hughes' poem. Oh yes, I say it plain, America never was America to me. And yet I swear this oath, America will be. May it be so.
In a many-colored garden, we are growing side by side. We will rise all together, we will rise. With the sun and rain upon
center. Please make connection across the pews. Join hands, join elbows, lightly rest your hand on someone's shoulder. We often say at this time that while this service has come to an end, our service to the world is just beginning. Friends, our theme for the month has been prayer and meditation. I want to send you out with the prayer from the Reverend Bill Singford entitled, Only Begun. Spirit of life and love, dear God of all the nations, there is so much work to do. We have only begun to imagine justice and mercy. Help us hold fast to our vision of what can be. May we see hope in our history and find the courage and the voice to work for that constant rebirth of freedom and justice. That is our dream. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
Amen.